Hallå, hej! Välkommen till Sångkraft i tuffa tider. Jag heter Eva Hillered, jag är artist, låtskrivare och coach. Jag coachar i sång och låtskriveri. Sångkraft i tuffa tider skapade jag för ungefär, det var efter mars när jag kom hem från Nashville. Så skapade jag den här gruppen. Och då höll jag på en hel månad konstant och gav massa material. Och sen har jag stannat, jag har inte kunnat fortsätta att vara så intensiv i mitt sändande. Men jag har ofta fantastiska gäster och jag gör en del konserter. Jag sände live för ett tag sedan, då var Micke Andersson Syd med mig. Nej, Micke Syd säger man, Micke Syd Andersson. Och Andreas Norén, fantastiska musiker. Och det misslyckades ganska katastrofalt för att säga, den livesändningen. För vi hade på så sätt, inte ljudmässigt men bildmässigt. Jag vet inte om någon av er var med. Men jag kommer lägga ut lite, vi tog faktiskt och filmade med en riktig kamera. Och det händer sånt där ibland när man har så mycket. Vi hade även lite publik i trädgården och det blev stressigt med allting. Så ni som kollade på det, ni kommer få ta del av lite YouTube-filmer istället med en del av. Det blir en jättefin konsert till slut i alla fall. Så här i Sångkraft så bjuder jag ibland på konsert med mig själv, med andra. Och framförallt så har jag fortsatt att sända den här delen som jag ska sända nu, som heter Evas gäst. För ni vet, det finns otroligt mycket kreativa människor i vår värld, i vårt land. Och jag tror på kultur som ett sätt att verkligen bygga broar mellan människor, att få människor att känna gemenskap. Och det är också någonting som alla kan hålla på med på olika nivåer. Var man än står så kan alla sjunga eller lära sig uttrycka sig på något sätt. Och oftast mår man så mycket bättre av det. Och det är ju varför jag är här på jorden, eller jag säga. För det är det jag har hållit på med ett helt liv. Att dels att uttrycka mig själv och gjort en massa plattor och turnerat runt i världen. Och gör det fortfarande. Kommer aldrig sluta. Och skriver sånger, spelar in. Och hjälper andra med att inspirera dem. Så det är meningen med det här. Och jag har en underbar gäst som ni ska få träffa alldeles strax. Och jag vill bara kort introducera honom lite. Vi sågs på Irland på en liten ö som heter Inisher. Och det här är ett antal år sedan nu. Jag var på en internationell låtskrivare-retreat. Och jag var inte den gången en som ordnade retreatet. För det gör jag också. Jag har ett på Kreta årligen och jag har ett sånt här internationellt låtskrivare-retreat på Gotland. Vi fick ställa in det i år såklart. Men det här var jag deltagare med en kollega och vän som heter Brett Perkins som hade det här. Och han gjorde reklam för mig innan. Sean Millar kommer, Eva, du måste hänga på. Och han har fått så mycket priser och han var utnämnd till Irlands bästa låtskrivare och sådär. För ett tag sedan då. Det är ofta så att vi som håller på med det här, vi får någon sån här riktigt topp i vår karriär. Och det hade Sean, precis som jag, i början av sin karriär. Och sen har han hållit fast vid musiken och sitt skapande. Och det är en bragd att göra det i en sån svår bransch. Det vet alla som gör. För att det är så upp och ner i branschen. Men han har hittat nya vägar som han ska berätta om. Han kommer aldrig sluta heller att skriva låtar. Och framförallt skrev vi en låt tillsammans som har betytt jättemycket för mig och för de som följer mig och tittar på mig. Och för publiker, 300 personer i Texas stod och vrålade när jag sjöng den här låten. Den heter I'm Perfect, I Can't Help It, I Was Born This Way. Every time I see myself, I smile and I say I'm perfect in my own way. Så det är en sån riktig pepplåt som människor älskar. Och det var 700 kineser på Thailand sjöng jag för en gång. Och de blev helt i gasen av den här låten också. Så det är en väldigt sån här upplyftande sång. Och den skrev Sean och jag tillsammans. Och det blir så när man är låtskrivare och delar och skriver tillsammans. Då är det som att man har ett litet barn ihop nästan. Man får en väldigt speciell relation. Man kommer nära varandra. Och jag tycker så otroligt mycket om Sean. Vi har skrivit andra låtar också. Så det ska bli jätteroligt. Han är en väldigt inspirerande person, tycker jag. Han bor i Dublin och där ser ju situationen ganska annorlunda ut än vad det gör för oss i Sverige. Så varmt välkomna till kvällens Sångkraft, och nu ska ni få möta Sean Millar. Ha en underbar stund. Now. Hi, Sean Millar from Ireland, Dublin. So great to have you here. Hello, world.
Hi, hi everybody. Hi, Eva, and hi, everybody.
Hi. It's great to see you. Last time we had contact, we were talking only, but I like to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see your face. You look, even younger, if it's possible.
I would say the same to you.
Yeah, it's true about me too. We're both.
Yeah, we're just getting younger and younger.
Younger and younger.
Yeah, it's not like in the hits, ain't getting any younger. We're the opposite.
We're the opposite,
Yeah, we're the opposite. Some exceptions from the rule. So lovely to see you here. So can you tell me a little, it was really interesting when we talked that you know, it's a difference between the countries and this Corona situation.
Sure. Yeah.
Shortly what happens in Ireland with you in Corona.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been very extreme, you know. So it's a quite severe lockdown, you know. The limit of travel was 2 kilometers. We were only allowed 2 kilometers from our homes. About 2 weeks ago or something like that, they changed that to 5 kilometers, right?
Ooh.
So yeah, that was actually a really big deal. That was a really big deal for me because I have to get a walk every day. I have to get exercise every day, you know.
Yeah.
And also what it meant is that the seaside is only 5 kilometers from my house, you know, so I could get to the seaside, I could see the sea, and that's very important to me as well, you know.
Of course.
So that was a really a big thing. But I suppose the biggest thing over here is that it's a terrible tragedy for the people who have lost people, and you know, a friend of mine, for example, you know, lost somebody and that kind of thing. But the numbers have been extremely low here. You know, the numbers have been very low. I mean, it's say we always compare to England, you know, sort of thing beside us, because and their response has been completely different, right, to it, and kind of ours has been very cautious, extremely cautious response. You know.
That's great, but it's also like a wonder. You don't know really. I mean, Sweden has not been so cautious. In many countries, thought that we were crazy. But if you compare them to other countries, I mean, it's really hard to tell who is doing the right thing.
Well, we talk about Sweden here, you know, because of that, you know, and because it's really great because it stops the arguments becoming too polarized, because Sweden's response in some ways was a little bit more like England's, right, at the start, but it has worked well for you guys, right?
Yeah, somehow people are kind of obedient here, so they take good care at most of the people.
And the other big surprise here in Ireland was, as they say, compliance, right? Because of the way Irish people are, right? It was kind of people worried that nobody would stick to the rules and nobody would, you know, all that kind of stuff. But in fact, actually, it's really high. It's something 80% complete compliance. You know,
that's great.
Yeah. So
I had a friend I have a friend on Crete, and she said, I mean, it's the same there. They had really strict orders, and like you had to pay a fee for the police, and you know, but they were really loyal also.
Yeah.
And there they didn't have many cases at all. So it's a mystery, really, why.
It is. It really is. And you know something? One of my friends that I grew up with, he's one of the most respected scientists in the country, right? And he's so he's always on the radio and television and all that kind of stuff, right? And he's a microbiologist, you know, and this is his specialist subject, right? And he's very cautious about what he says. He's not saying, he's going, well, we know about this, but we don't know about this, and we know about this, and you know, he's very positive, and he says, like, you know, look, we're going to be okay. It's all going to work out, but we've got to watch this, and we've got to watch this. And I met another microbiologist the other day, who's he's my niece's boyfriend. Anyway, but what you call it? But he's Italian, and he was really just kind of going, look, we're still working out why everything happens the way it happens with this. So I really think, you know, caution is good, and sort of restraint around this.
It's,
you know,
like
so
also like respecting, you know, that we are fragile. We are fragile, all of us, in this sense. We don't know really, and I think might be a good thing for us to kind of be a little bit humble. Because we act often like we know, well, nothing, I can do everything, and we are like kings and queens, and that's good in a way when it comes to confidence, but not when it comes to respect on some level.
Well, actually, I think that what you're saying applies to a lot of things, because one of the things that I have found upsetting in the, if you like, social media era, right, is how vehement, you know, how angry and how certain people are of their opinions, you know, and they express this kind of total certainty about what they think. This person is terrible, that person's that was a horrible thing that they said. And people are the other way around, you know, no, there's nothing wrong with that, all that kind of stuff. And you kind of go, well, you know, what happened to just actually listening and having a bit of respect and trying to work out what the right thing and the good thing is, you know, kind of thing, you know, that's basically it, you know. But
it's natural for us because we are musicians. We listen a lot.
We listen a lot. Well, some of us do.
Some of us do. So just for the viewers, we met on Ireland in a international songwriters retreat.
Yeah.
And you said to me, Eve, I think you need a song. I think you spotted my kind of one of my weak points that I didn't then. I changed totally in that sense. Yeah. You said, I think you need a song called I'm Perfect, I Can't Help It. And then we wrote this beautiful song. And you had the vision of all the housewives that were going to stand like thousands. And it almost happened in Texas. Yeah. But there were 300. But anyhow, you know. And it almost got pitched by this big
company.
No, they make beauty things like
beauty products.
Yeah, and they were kind of featuring different kind of women, not like the perfect ones, but the, you know, perfect like the song is telling about the perfect in my own way. So but I really love that song, and so many people have been loving that.
That's fantastic. It's, you know, it's just a wonderful thing that you make these things and then they have this life that you don't even know about. Do you know what I mean? You know, you know, like you tell me that about, you know, this song, you formed the song in Texas and all the things. And that's just a wonderful thing, you know.
It's just it is. Crazy songwriters taking big chances, traveling all around the working with people, and get really deep connections like you get because we've been touring and we were doing a lot of stuff, and then we don't see each other in the 2-3
How long?
but so that's just a little introduction for the listeners. I just want to give you some room to tell me a little more about I will not talk so much further because I really want to hear more of you, but I wonder how, as a musician, how it has affected you, the corona.
Well, okay, well, I mean, there's no point. I'm a realist, so there's no point in pretending that this isn't going to be a huge effect on things, right? So I was supposed to this year do, because I work in theater as a musician as well, and that's one of my main jobs, is working in theater as a musician as well, and then doing my own stuff. So this year I was supposed to bring out a new solo album, so I've been working towards that for about 2 years, and I was supposed to bring out a new theater show as well, which I've been also developing for about 2 years, and neither of them can happen now. So that's a very serious effect, but you have to be, maybe it's because I'm a little bit older now and a little bit, maybe not too much wiser, but a little bit wiser, okay? But, you have to kind of look at the big picture and go, I'm okay, I'm healthy, my family's okay, we're all fine. And also, what's going to happen is, because I'm sure it's the same in Sweden, is the same everywhere. Okay, I haven't been in Sweden for a few years, but the music business had changed completely, right? Whether you want to be, no matter what way you look at it, okay, and no matter, even if you're, say, for example, I have real problems with some things, like, for example, with some of the platforms and some of the music platforms, and because I think it's exploitative, things like that. But no matter what way or what stance you take, and again, I don't like to take an extreme stance one way or the other about it. I like to take the middle path on things. But music has changed completely.
Yeah, really.
Right? It has changed completely. So. The middle class of music has disappeared, right? It has disappeared, right? So there's only the people who make no money and the people who make a lot of money. Now, that's basically it, really. Or not no money, but,
very little.
Very little.
We're on the same level, kind of. Yeah.
And that's had a bad effect for a lot of people. And so, for example, in Ireland, really only the people who can, sell out a big place enough nights to make like quite a lot of money out of that. But you'd need to be able to do that a few times a year, and the population, the population
small
of Dublin,
country,
only, whatever. Yeah, it's a small country. So Ireland is a small country, and all that kind of stuff. So unless you can do that in about 10 countries, you're not going to make the type of money that it was normal for musicians to make here. It wasn't even that successful.
Yeah, but we still do, don't we? I mean, I feel
music. Yeah.
We still do it because of the love. Yeah. And I feel really proud of that we still do it. Because it's something else. And what do you know what's driving you? Because you have to write, and you have to. I know that you're an extremely creative person. Have you thought about what is the driving force, really?
Oh, totally. 100%. Yeah, I think about it all the time, because I've had to I mean, honestly, really, like most musicians, if you're raising children, right, or if you have to look at it, what you're doing, and justify it and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of musicians that I know are very smart people, and they, they're the type of people, if they had done something else, they could have a really good career or make a lot of money or all that kind of stuff, So you have to look at it like that when you're raising kids and question it. And really, the thing about it for me is that I had to do this, I don't have a choice about this. No. And pretending that I do isn't going to help anybody,
I wrote this song. I don't know if you.
That's basic.
Yeah, I wrote a song called "This Road Chose Me," and it's all about that.
I like that song.
Yeah,
I like that song.
Yeah. But it's
I mean, and that's. But I mean, that's the way I feel about it, right?
Yeah, I understand. but I mean, now we have like something also really good to give to people in these times. So I mean, in that sense, also, I think when we're going to lie there and about to die, we won't think, oh, I didn't earn a lot of money. It's more like, who did I affect with my life? Who came to me and said, wow, this song really meant a lot for me. I mean, I try to have that sometimes. Then you have to be realistic too. I mean, it's like,
I mean,
but that perspective sometimes help me, and I feel very
well, you know, it also as well. There's really like there's very few negative things that can happen from somebody writing a song and singing it. I mean, you know, the worst thing that could happen is that somebody hates it. That's really it. You know, I go, God, I hate that song, which happens. That happens, you know. But there's very few of those things can happen, really. I mean, so I kind of feel a bit like, you know, the way the medical thing that people say, don't do harm, you know, do no harm, you know. And I kind of feel like that about it, because I kind of go, but you know, what did you do with your life? You know, what did you do with your life? And you know, I'm kind of happy about what I did with my life. You know, I'm very happy that I played music for people. You know,
you're such a beautiful songwriter, Sean, and performer, and everything.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Eva. But you know, that I also think, you know, I have a message, I have a code, you know, and a message from myself, you know, that I stick to, about my performances and about what I do with my performances, and that I never try and do something that's going to make, even though a lot of my songs are very dark, right, and sometimes they're funny, you know, as well. Sometimes I have songs like that are dark and funny, but I always try and do a thing where people walk away with a better thing than what they walked in with. That's my thing. That it's. I read a great quote one time, and it was from. I don't know if people know who this guy is, but he's really huge, right? But his name is Michael Moorcock, and he writes sci-fi, science fiction, right, and stuff like that. And he's written, I don't know, he must have written 100 novels or something like that. And he's massively popular, but he's an unusual person in that he's like literary as well, and like has won fiction prizes and things like that as well. But at the same time, he makes no bones about writing pulp, you know, fiction and things like that. He doesn't care, whatever, about that. And he also was in a band. He played with Hawkwind, the band Hawkwind, for a while, and things like that. But he said in an interview that his entire philosophy is that if people give him 15 minutes, if they give him 15 minutes, that at the end of the 15 minutes, they won't feel like that 15 minutes was a waste, you know, that they won't feel it was a waste of their time. And that's kind of what I, you know, that if you come to one of my gigs, if there's 6 people in the audience, right, I'm going to try and make sure that they got something, you know.
Yeah, that is fantastic. That's always my thing too. How can I lift these guys? How can I make them? Yeah, it's really and it's just, yeah, it's but so wonderful to hear, and it's good to be reminded of also for everyone who wants to. I mean, we are always amongst other people, and I mean, we could have that with us maybe more in life in general. How can I be of service? You know, how can I think we're heading those times now when it's going to be very important, and more people want to be satisfied on a deeper level than only like the surface. I think it's going to be more and more important, and it's a really good feeling when you feel I actually lifted someone now, you know, with whatever you do. It's so it's for those who are watching, because we are changing the ground where we stand by doing that. We are really affecting things where we are all living. And I think that Corona might help us see this, that we are affecting each other all the time. And then, of course, we are standing on a stage that's fantastic, because then we really have these people coming there for us and listening. But still, for me, it's good to have that in mind as much as I can, really. Then I can't always, of course. I mean, Jesus or Buddha or...
Well, it's an interesting thing. I think I was saying to you about in the first 2 weeks of the lockdown here, I go out for a walk every day, and I went to a park near us, and it's a very quiet park, and it was a beautiful day, and I think there was maybe one other person in the park, right? And it was so quiet, right? Because I live in the city centre. I live right I live on one of the busiest junctions in Dublin, right? So the traffic is unbelievable, right? And there wasn't one car. And on the way to the park, I passed one person, right? Okay. And the quiet was just extraordinary. And then the birds, I think when I first came in, they went quiet for a second, right? And then they started to relax and to sing. And the bird song was just extraordinary, right? Okay. It was just, I was going, this is like being in a dream or something, It was like every bird was singing, and I wrote a little kind of a poem as I was walking along, because I was thinking about it from the birds' point of view, and I was going, the birds all sing of one sweet spring, the sweetest ever known, when the cars all stopped and the people stayed at home, and it's an interesting thing to me, I think where we were before this, about, it feels like a century ago, but it's 3 months ago or whatever it was, okay? We're in the middle of an environmental crisis, a worldwide environmental crisis, okay? And, it's kind of funny sometimes you're talking to people and you almost feel like laughing, because they're going, we've got to figure out a way of making money out of that. They're kind of just going, I don't think you heard the bit about, what we're doing to the planet, and they're going, this is an opportunity, this is an opportunity for us to make money. And you kind of just go, no, it's not. It's not an opportunity for you to make money. It's an opportunity for everybody to stand still for a moment, just stand still and take stock, take a reading of where we are as a people, as a species, who and what we are. And what you said about that thing about service, there's a whole movement in Ireland with young people exactly around what you're talking about trying to be good, trying to be a force for good, trying to help and trying to reach out and trying to make a better society. And so just before this happened, there was a big election here, and it was a very unusual election in that in Ireland there's two main political parties, and they're both centre-right parties, right? So it's since the history of the state, it's always either one or the other of those two in. But the oldest political party here is Sinn Féin, which has, if you like, a Republican past, and so for some people it was associated with the IRA, etc., right? So it had a very, very small support in the elections. But in this one, they got the same vote as the other two parties for the first time ever.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. And people my age are kind of going, whoa, that's crazy, because essentially Sinn Féin were the party of the IRA, right? The political party associated with the IRA. And so they have that past, but young people are saying, we don't care. We don't care about the past. We don't care about all that stuff. We just want somebody in government who's going to make a change. Right?
That's
so
beautiful.
You know, it's very interesting. It's an interesting time. It's an
It
interesting
is.
time.
I'm involved in a huge community of women all over the world, and all this community is striving for finding the deepest and best value in me and giving that to the world. And I think also it's going to be we're going to see a lot of more of women, because I don't want to kind of judge us like who is the better, but we have this tendency to take care very naturally. You know, it's just in us. And of course, everyone is different. So there is not, every woman is not like the other.
Yeah.
But we have been looking down at that thing in the culture hasn't had a great value. And now who are saving us, all these people in the hospitals, all these people taking care, and they cannot just treat them like, you know, we'd not survive without them. So I think a lot of things is changing.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. And actually, incidentally, the leader of that party is a woman. So, so, and she like, if she had become the Taoiseach, is what we call Prime Minister here. If she'd become Taoiseach, she would have been the first female Prime Minister here. You know, Taoiseach. Yeah. Anyway, but I think what you're saying, it's interesting what you're saying. Just to follow up what you're saying, because I think that essentially there's a kind of a devaluing of the feminine, right? Or of the thing, and of work that you associate with the work that women do, like the cleaning jobs, all those jobs, they're all really low paid work. Yeah. Right. Okay. And in hospitals, exactly what you're saying. Yeah, they're low paid jobs, even though they're such essential jobs, right? And even down to things like food, like around food. The food industry, it's very badly paid, you know, the people who bring you out food, you know, so psychologically we associate all of those things that we associate with the stuff that throughout history that women have done, those traditional, you know, traditional roles. They're all really low paid. They're all low paid because as a society we don't value that, right? Or maybe we're starting to. But it's interesting well, who are what they're calling key workers? I don't know about over in Sweden, but here, people who work in supermarkets now are suddenly, everybody's talking about like, you know, that thing where they do the rounds of applause every night, where they and they're saying for all our frontline workers, and they're saying in the supermarkets, in the da. So people who work in supermarkets are now seen as this really important job, because it is. It's so good. You know? Yeah,
I think that's the challenge we have now, to kind of turn around to see what is happening. That's going to be a turnaround in our attitude, and which is gonna influence us. And we could talk for hours.
Yes,
it's really interesting. But I want you to share something of your music, or some. Okay. If you have like, I usually ask people about just a short little tip that they can use for feeling more grounded, more happy. If you, breathing, or you talked about your walking, or if you have something like that to kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I for me personally, my personal odyssey during this time, my epic journey, but it has been about mental and physical health. Okay. So I found it very difficult to write at the start of this. And, you know, writing, one way or another, writing is my job, you know, making songs or coming up with ideas for different things or whatever, that's my job. But I found it really, really difficult because I was too troubled by what was going on. And so what I decided to do was to focus on every day doing, you know, exercises, workouts, and walking, trying to get into nature, you know, just with me and my dog out in the park, you know, simple stuff, not big things, just really simple. Go to the park, try and listen to the birds song more. I've been really trying to do that, you know, and so mental and physical health. And you kind of go, really, what else is there? You know,
really,
really, that's the main thing. You know, if you get to play music and you're mentally and physically okay, you know, it's all good, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree, Sean. It's very
you know,
important. It's a ground really we stand on. And
yeah,
so
it
it's
is.
a good tip.
I said years ago, a friend of mine said to me about his life. His life was a mess, and he was a musician and a lovely guy, but his life was a mess, you know. And he said, you know, he's trying to do this and he's trying to do that. And I said, look, just pick one thing, you know, pick one thing. Like he had a son, right? And I said, just be a good dad to that kid. That's it. Just that, right? Just pick one thing, and that's enough, right? That's it. You know, and
when we try to get too much, we get overwhelmed, and then we're in chaos. Yeah.
You know, you fall. Okay, so my thing at the moment is just try and be really mentally at my best, you know, and spiritually, because I have this very strong spiritual connection. I don't talk about it much, but I do have a very strong spiritual belief and connection, and to try and be mentally and spiritually at my best. And also, I thought, okay, this is my body, my vehicle. I've got to look after myself. I've got to start getting a bit fit and that kind of thing, you know. So maybe use this time for that, you know, to maybe focus in a little bit.
To get some habits around it, I think it's good. You know,
pull in a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe pull in a little bit, you know, and just go forget about all that stuff for a little bit. Life has given you this moment, you know, a moment where you're on your own, where you spend a lot of time in thinking and working through, and maybe you can use that time to address some of the things, you know, and simple, small steps.
Really good advice. Thank you, Sean. That's fantastic. I use them too. Yeah. So, but you have a song also to share.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will mute myself so I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a song. I just before all this happened, I was just nearly finished making a record, and so this is a song off that record, and it's a sad song, but it's also about something as well. So it's not just sad; it's also about living and recognizing that's, you know, sometimes sorrow is part of life, you know. It's just sometimes that's just part of life, and you have to weave that into, that's one of the threads in the tapestry of your life, and you have to recognize that and give it its place as well, you know. And so I called the song The River of Tears, right? And that's what it is. So I go to the supermarket. There's a few things that I need. Water and salt, tea bags and tea. I called to see my mother. She says she's doing okay. The only thing she can't stand is these long summer days. This river of tears. I don't know where it goes. Sometimes it rises high. Sometimes it overflows. Someday I'll follow down to the sea. When I'm ready to meet the other side of get a call from my brother. He says his anger feels like pain. But it's good to have someone to whom I don't have to explain the way I feel about the things I feel. The facts are just facts. We both know that there's no going back. Down the river of tears, I don't know where it goes. Sometimes it rises high, sometimes it overflows. Someday I'll follow down to the sea, and I'm ready to meet the other side of me. This river of tears, I don't know where it goes. Sometimes it rises high, sometimes it overflows. Someday I'll follow down to the sea, and I'm ready to meet the other side of me.
God, I have to hear. Oh, so beautiful, Sean. I was
Thanks.
very, very moved by your song. And I'm just looking forward to hear it because, you know, the sound in this Zoom.
Yeah.
But
Well,
still, it communicates the song. The guitar sound is going back and forth, but it's so beautiful. I love the song.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Well, I really love the recording that I've made of it. Actually, it's just guitars and piano, and I was hoping if we get a chance, I might record my daughter's a musician as well, so I might get her, because it's about my brother and my mother and everything, you know. So it'd be lovely if my daughter sang the backing vocals on it, you know. So that'd be really nice.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I will totally share it in my communities, and we will also share some other links to the listeners so they can check you out, because this was fantastic, very uplifting for me, and I'm so happy to have you as my guest here in Sångkraft. And take care, dear Sean, and keep on doing what you do.
Ava, listeners, I want to say thank you so much for asking me to do this, and it was lovely for me. It was a really nice thing for me to do this, and all your friends and viewers or whatever, you know, we'll be good, you know. Stay strong.
Yes, that's good. Bye, take care. Bye. Tack snälla ni som har varit med och tittat. Jag är lite tråkigt med ljudupptagningen på de här, men jag rekommenderar er som tittar på det här, både ni som tittar nu och ni som tittar senare, att kolla in de här länkarna till Sean, för att det gör ju inte musikern eller artisten riktigt rättvisa med det här Zoom-ljudet. För han är fantastisk och så. Jag hörde lite annorlunda nu när jag var med och sände med honom, så kändes det som det var bättre ljud, och nu när jag hör i efterhand så var det inte så bra ljud. Men det spelar ingen roll. Jag hoppas att ni fick ut någonting av detta och att ni kollar in Sean som är en underbar person, och det han skriver är jättefint. Så kommer vi ses igen om cirka 2 veckor. Nästa gäst kommer vara, kan jag flagga för. Jag har en väldigt känd artist som eventuellt kommer hon nästa gång. Annars så kommer det bli en annan fantastisk röstyogalärare. Så vi kommer hålla på lite med röstövningar och sånt där nästa gång. Lite mindre prat kanske, och mer bara sådär hänga på och göra lite praktiska saker. Och få ta del av hennes enorma kunskap, och hon är en inspirationskrutduk. Men det är osäkert, ni kommer märka, ni som är med Sångkraft, vem det är som kommer. Jag annonserar alltid ett antal dagar innan om det blir vem det nu blir som blir nästa gång. Men om cirka 2 veckor så ses vi igen, och ha en fortsatt underbar sommarkväll. Hej då!